this is Attorney Walter Knott with Disability Resolution PA. I just wanted to go through something real quick that was brought up, which I thought was kind of interesting from an ethical standpoint. Should the SSA ethically kill people off of the disability benefits program during the pandemic? So what we mean by that is, should they enter people receiving disability benefits into a CDR, continuing disability review, even during this whole pandemic? And I thought about that, and I thought that was interesting because, they just kind of kept doing what they do, and they kept entering people into that 8-step sequential CDR, continuing disability review process, which is the process they use to basically kick people off of benefits that no longer fit into the disability program, whether or not they are severely impaired, etc. And what I thought about that was, that's an interesting point, because there's a lot of people that they're, let's say that they're severely impaired, and then they go and do this CDR, and then they come back as being moderate to severely impaired, right? And now all of a sudden that individual is basically getting kicked off of disability benefits, or going through the process of getting kicked off of disability benefits and getting a job. For parts of this whole COVID situation, there were no jobs available. And now for other parts of this whole COVID Delta sort of situation, there's supposedly lots and lots and lots and lots of jobs where they just can't find employees. So I think what's interesting about this whole thing is that it makes me wonder, was it unethical to be doing CDRs during COVID? You were essentially potentially kicking people off of the benefit system with no way to get a job. And that's kind of the whole point of these disability benefits. At the very bottom line of it is, if you're severely impaired and can't work full time, then you get a check every month. But during this whole COVID thing, there were moments where you couldn't get a job. It just wasn't out there. The system of disability benefits is based on another system called the private market. The private market of jobs available in the national economy. That's what the whole DOT, the Dictionary of Occupational Titles book, is DOT and SEO is all about. What jobs exist in the national economy that are created mostly by private industry to go ahead and employ people at a part or full-time work base? Can you do a full-time job? If you can, you're not disabled. But that brings up a real good ethical question of, did the government through the SSA do the right thing, essentially Commissioner Andrew Saul, do the right thing during that period with continuing CDRs during that, and then basically going ahead and kicking people off of the Social Security disability program during a pandemic? If you go back and think of like the Black Plague, would this whole thing been acceptable during the Black Plague? Would this thing not have been acceptable for them to kick people off of this program during the Black Plague? Because that's what a pandemic is. It's if you look at essentially what's happened throughout history, it's some sort of medical condition which essentially harms people's ability to function in society. And so the whole point of that is, at the end of the day, you get stuck with this situation where people can't realistically get a job, even though they say they can get a job. And now you get into this whole ethical thing of why the government is essentially putting people into a homeless situation. They can't afford the rent because they were kicked off of disability benefits. And there's a whole scale here. There's, they were severe and now they're moderately severe. That's the one where it's like, oh. But then you have the fakers out there. They were severe and then they didn't have any impairments. They never went to the doctor, etc. And then you have the people that are in the gray zone, the tough zone. I don't go to doctors because they give me anxiety. Well, then how are you going to prove that you have anxiety? Right? Then you have the gray zone. So anyways, guys, I hope this brought up an idea or thought or something in your head about the ethics of the disability program, which is not something that we usually look at. Just we kind of accept what it is, and what the government does is what the government does. But we do have a new commissioner coming in with the Social Security Administration, so let's see how this thing's going to go. But either ways, my name is Attorney Walter Knott III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA. And real quick, I go live. I donate 2 hours every Thursday, live 8 to 10 p.m. every Thursday on YouTube, Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to catch up with me then, give me a call then. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.